to another episode of the Algerian Football Podcast. Hope everyone is doing good. Hope everyone is doing well. Obviously, very difficult times at the moment in the United Kingdom with the passing away of Her Majesty the Queen, which meant, of course, no Premier League football, no Riyad Mahrez or Said Benrahma taking place in any action at the weekend in the Premier League, but still plenty of talking points to get into. We're going to start with the action from Ligue 1. Now, a tale of two Algerian strikers. We'll start with Islam Slimani on Saturday. Now, what a moment when he was named in the starting lineup away to PSG at the Parc des Princes. And you have to say, Belmadi on the bench was a bit of a surprise. He's not been starting in the team. I've said for a few weeks now I want to see Benrahma start on that left-hand side. We'll come to the Algeria squad in a bit. But Slimani started. He put a lot of pressure on Sergio Ramos. He is the man for the big occasion, Slimani. He scored in so many big games at both club and country over the years. Of course, you remember the 2014 World Cup where Slimani was instrumental. Even this year against Cameroon recently, Slimani was fantastic. Not only scoring away to Cameroon, but also scored twice at home to Cameroon. But of course, Mr. Gassama decided to disallow both of those goals. But let's digress over that before we get upset again. So Slimani starts, bullies Ramos, really good centre forward play. Of course, Ramos is one of the best central defenders of the past 15 years. So for Slimani to give him a tough time is a compliment in itself. You saw the moment where Slimani actually nutmegs Ramos, and you think when Brestois get a penalty, you think, wow, what a moment for Slim. Before that penalty kick's even been taken, you don't have to watch that club to know that Slimani's going to pick up that pen and he's going to take it. Because I don't think Slim's the pen taker there. He thought, this is my moment in Paris, and it's not 4-0 down. This is to make it 1-1, and they're currently Brest in a relegation battle. So that would have been a massive point for them, because they wouldn't have expected to get anything away at PSG. So Slimani takes the penalty. Run-up's a bit dodgy. The actual placement of the pen, towards his right, it's not that bad. It's quite a good save from Donnarumma, really. The penalty is on target. It's not wildly missed, but just an unfortunate moment, because it would have been nice for Slimani to cap off that performance with a goal. And then contrastingly, the day after, Andy Delors scores a fantastic winning goal for Nice against Auxerre. Now, this was such a boring game. Nothing happened. In a game of such little quality, a moment of world-class brilliance from Andy Delors. A bicycle kick from an in-swinging corner. Such close proximity. How he generates that power. And it's just that bit of quality we've been crying out for the last 9-10 months, I think, those World Cup games in the AFCON. We really missed a player of Delors' stature. And I think it's got to the point now where Algeria needs Delors more than Delors needs Algeria. And that's why I've been saying, before he said he'd come back, I've been talking about how sometimes you just got to get to the World Cup no matter what, and then worry about the politics after. But really good goal from Delors. Perhaps too good for Nice, but he scored quite a few goals this season already. So Delors looking in good shape. And let's talk about who's going to be in the squad then, because I think Slimani's looking at hanging around for at least till another tournament. And I think Delors is going to be coming back, hopefully. And I think you'll see sort of a more complete the front trio of strikers. In terms of the other positions, if we sort of try and predict sensibly and educationally, I'm not going to say Benzema, Mbappe and Fekir are going to come, but who is going to be called up in this upcoming Algeria squad? Of course, expect it to be one of the last squads around the world that are announced, as ever, always on retard, just like the airline. So in goal, Raissam Bolahi has actually finally got a new club in the Saudi second division. The reason he's gone there, I think, is because that club, he's at Al-Qadsiya, actually have the manager that brought him to Ait-Nouri. So he's reunited with the manager from his old club, hence why he's gone to the second tier. But in terms of the level, the Saudi first tier is bad enough, but the second tier, I mean, if we got no better keeper, if we've genuinely got no better keeper, that can't be right. Mandrea's been fantastic. I think Mandrea should be the number one now. Okidra at Metz hasn't played too many games this season. You might see Zugba come back. You might see Murabah come in. But in friendlies, I wouldn't worry too much about the goalkeeping area, considering Algeria haven't got a World Cup to look forward to, unfortunately. And then in the defence, the left-back area is going to be key, because Rami Bentabani will be there. And then it's the question mark of, are we going to see Ait-Nouri? Are we going to see Yasser Laroussi from Troyes? Are we going to see these backup left-backs come in? Are we going to see Yanis Hamash, even though he's gone to Ukraine? So that's going to be an important position. And the right back, Yusuf Atal, for me, even if he does get a recovery from injury, he hasn't played since that injury. Zadudka did play against Marseille for Lille, even though Lille lost that game. And he started to build a bit of chemistry on that right-hand side with Adam Ounas. And of course, Adam Ounas, another player that probably should be called up. But if Zadudka is the first choice right back, you've got Beniardo who's gone to Morocco. You've got Mehdi Zafan who's currently injured at the moment. You've got Halimia who's gone back to Mouloudia. So again, all of a sudden, a bit of a crisis at fullback. You might see a couple of new names you've never heard of before. And then the centre half, you're probably going to see Mandy. Tuba's done well. But Delaine, of course, is in Saudi Arabia at the moment. And maybe one or two wild cards in the centre-back positions. Of course, Ben Lamry is playing club football once again. Then in midfield, you expect to see Benassi, you expect to see Zerouki. Feghouli and Gudura won't be there, I can tell you that now. No way. Even though Gudura's been playing a few games in the Middle East, not for me. So Benassi, Zerouki probably start. Two big question marks, Houssem Aouar and Yassine Adli. Aouar won't be there. Now, many pages, people, accounts, journalists from the Arab world have talked about Yassine Adli's acceptance of the Algeria call-up. Even made it into Italian media. Bein Sports France picked up on the story as well. I'm not sure. I think Adli will play for Algeria. I'm just not sure if he's going to come for a couple of friendlies. And that's where the World Cup qualification was so crucial, because these players were getting spoken to before the Cameroon games to get in time for the World Cup. So, of course, they agree to play for you. Then you suddenly don't make a World Cup and suddenly it's awkward. Do they really want to come for a couple of friendlies when they're at clubs like AC Milan in such a congested season? Adli might come, I'm not sure. Elise won't be there. Delors should be there. But we'll see, because again, that midfield is stretched. If you've looked past Benasser and Zerouki, you're limited for options. Badawi's had a handful of games. I'm not too keen on the lads from Belgium, if I'm being totally honest. I'm not the biggest fan of Adam Zorogan. I don't think he's good enough to win tournaments and to go to World Cups with, unfortunately. You might see Abu Dubka in there again, I suppose. Bilal Brahimi's been recovering from an injury. He might just about make it. Of course, you've got Ben Rahma and Belayli on that left. Mahrez hasn't played a lot of football on that right-hand side. Adam Ounas has started to start a couple of games, so I assume that will be a good option. Rashid Ghazel is injured at the moment, and up front, like I said, it should be a more Delors and Slimani. Any other picks in terms of wild cards? I think Delors kind of counts as a wild card. I think Larousse might come. I think you might see Mehdi Boujema from Turkey come. Apart from that, I wouldn't bet your house on any names being there. There might be, but we'll see. It's just because it's friendlies. Even if it was AFCON qualifiers, it probably would be different competitive games. But it's not the end of the world. It's a couple of friendlies, and then Algeria might play a big team in November before the World Cup in Kuwait or something. And then that's going to be it for this year, guys, until March, when those AFCON qualifiers come round again. Unfortunately, that's the reality of not qualifying for a FIFA World Cup. And like I said, it will hurt Algerians a lot more when they see the tournament actually on. And they see, when that first game kicks off with Qatar, and you see Algerians in the crowd with a flag, bless them, Meskin, that's going to really, when it hits home. But by the way, if Ecuador still getting talked about getting kicked out of that World Cup, what a shambles is turning out to be this tournament. If Ecuador, who are meant to play Qatar in the opening game, do get kicked out, I don't know, are they trying to sneak Italy back in? Do they want Colombia in? I don't know, it just seems a bit dodgy to me. So when the Algeria squad is out, we'll be bringing you back to you on the YouTube channel, inshallah. But let's see what the approach is from Belmadi. Of course, is he going to just pick players again on reputation, or is it actually genuinely going to be down to the form with their clubs? Because that's how it always should be. It should be the form and not the fame in international football. So yeah, we're going to be looking forward to the games against Guinea and Nigeria in less than a fortnight now, inshallah. So Algeria's under-17 side actually won a recent under-17 Arab Cup. Funnily enough, brilliant group stage from the Algerians, and they won the quarterfinals, the semi-finals and the final all on penalties. They only scored 2 goals in 3 knockout games, won all 3. The chances of winning 3 games in a row on penalties takes some concentration and some mind games as well as football games. So congratulations to that under-17 side. Of course, Morocco weren't too happy about losing that final, considering they were 1-0 up until the last minute. But if Algeria win that, it shows that they can do well in these tournaments when they put their mind to it. I think the big thing for Algeria now is going to be winning that Chan in January, and not only winning it in terms of on the pitch, but winning it off the pitch as well. They're going to want to show CAF, because all the officials are going to be there, the president's going to be there, they can host a tournament. And when the bidding comes around for that Africa Cup of Nations in 2025, Algeria want to be at the front of that queue for hosting the AFCON. So that's going to be a crucial factor in Algeria winning their bid. It's kind of blessed them nicely that A, had the Mediterranean Games with the new stadiums, and B, they're now going to have a Chan, which CAF are going to be very prominent about following. It's going to be an 18-team Chan, the biggest ever one, and it's really going to test our facilities. And I think Algeria are kind of having a trial run. If it's a success, they'll get to host an AFCON in 2025. That's the way I see it. I don't see who else is going to want the tournament. I mean, you look at Egypt, look at Morocco, they want the World Cup. I don't think they're going to be interested in taking this AFCON on board. So let's see what happens with the hosting of the AFCON. But like I say, we're looking forward to the Algeria-Guinea game. Looking forward to see a game in Oran and not in Blida. I'm still having a lot of traumatic stresses every time I see that pitch in Blida in terms of the Cameroon situation. But we look forward to Algeria's game against Guinea, and of course their game a few days after that against Nigeria. And we've got one more round of, I think, of Champions League action before that. You've got Man City taking on Dortmund. Mahrez might get a game, we'll see. He hasn't had a game for a while. Usually he actually plays more in the Champions League than the domestic football. And then you've got Benassa at AC Milan and Adli as well, I suppose. They're taking on Dinamo Zagreb at home, I believe. So that should be a good win for them at the San Siro, with Benassa key in that game. Milan looking to make it into those knockout stages. But that's it. What we've got left is the quiz. I asked you last week who scored the second goal against South Korea. Of course, that was Rafik Halish. Cracking header. Just scored 1-0 and then he went to 2-0. So I'll keep it with that theme. And before that Brazil World Cup, Algeria played 3 warm-up games in a little training camp under Vahid Halilhodzic. Who did Algeria beat in those World Cup warm-up games? I'll tell you the answer next week. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.